Welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday. Today we're going to be taking a look at toe. We'll explain what it is, what it impacts, and how you can change the toe of your wheels to make your setup best fit your driving style. We're also going to analyze the effects of different toe setups with the Track Titan platform, where you can analyze your own driving for free and get a couple of extra insights if you sign up using code TOESETUP. Now let's get this elephant out of the room and talk about what toe actually is. Toe means angling the wheels, and you can see the difference in toe settings when you view your wheels from above. Opposed to your feet, a car only has 3 different types of toe. If the wheels are parallel to each other, we call it neutral toe. Now if the front of the wheels are pointing inward, we call it toe in. And when they're pointing outward, we call it obviously toe out. Now it's all well and good that we can change this angle of the wheels, but why would we actually want to do this? Well, toe mostly impacts the stability of our vehicle, and by changing the toe we can make it more stable or more responsive. This way we can influence under and oversteer if we feel like any of those is a problem. A rule of thumb is that toe in makes your car more stable and toe out makes it more responsive. Now let's see how we can use this to our advantage in an actual setup. When we look at the setup screen in ACC, we don't see any toe in or out settings. We can only change the number from positive to negative and vice versa. In ACC, a positive toe value represents toe in and a negative value means toe out. Now before we change any of these settings, we'll want to test out our current setup and note if it feels under or oversteery in the corners and if it feels stable enough on the straights. So we drive a couple of laps until we get a good feeling for our setup and notice if anything can be improved. If the car is not responsive enough, or let's call it understeery, decreasing the amount of toe in the front wheels might help to make it a little more responsive. You can also decrease the toe of the rear wheels if you feel like the rear does not move enough, but be careful that you not set your rear wheels to toe out, so a negative toe value, because it will make your car very unstable. Now when you have the opposite problem and the car is not stable enough, increasing the toe of the front wheels might help, and you can also increase the toe value of the rear wheels to make the backside more stable and reduce oversteer. But be careful, increasing the toe at the rear too much might slow you down. Be sure to make small incremental changes and test them out to see if they have the desired effect. This way you'll make sure you don't end up with a car that does not want to turn or a car that spins out in every corner. Now to show the effects of different toe settings, we've driven a couple of laps around Zandvoort with 2 setups. One in which we modified the aggressive setup with higher toe values, so more toe in, which is shown in orange, and the other was the aggressive setup with lower toe values, which is shown in blue. The first thing I noticed when driving these 2 setups was that the blue car with lower toe values was a lot more responsive, sometimes to the point of oversteering unintentionally. Which brings me to segment 2. Here we can see that I have to correct the oversteer of the blue car a little bit, while the orange car does not have too much trouble in this segment. The orange car has more toe in and is more stable, and it might even be a little bit understeer, which we can see if we fast forward a bit to segment 7, where we can see that the orange car has to slow down a lot more to get around the same corner. This is because the increased toe in causes it to be more stable, which makes it harder for the car to stray from its current trajectory, causing the understeer. The last example I wanted to look at is segment 10, the semi-last corner of Zandvoort. We can see the orange car has to steer in for longer to make the turn without running wide. I wanted to highlight this segment because in the 10 or so laps I drove with the orange more stable setup, I consistently had trouble keeping the car within track limits through this corner while keeping up the speed because it was understeering very heavily. And you want to build up speed in this corner because that speed all adds up on the straight that comes after the next corner. Now, neither more or less toe makes your car faster across the board. You really need to tailor the toe settings to your driving style and the track you're driving on. Our advice would be to change the toe settings based on your initial driving experience, which means you should increase toe in if you feel like your car is not stable enough, especially on corner entry. And you should decrease the toe in if you feel like your car does not want to go where you actually pointed. We hope you've learned a lot from this video. Let us know if we missed anything. Check out the Track Titan platform if you want to easily analyze your own sim racing, and we hope to see you in the next video.